Good morning, everyone. This is Betsy Wiersma.
And I'm Susan Prue.
And we're here at Boost Power Radio as you plug in for some uplifting ideas from super cool men and women to support you in your world sister style. We are here to deliver some interviews on purpose. We're looking for choice points and stories and delivering ways for you to find out what you need to live your best, most fantastic life. Today, that stinking Rhonda is out on vacation, fly fishing, some excuse, I don't know, with her husband, go figure, celebrating many, many years of happy marriage. So we wish you fun and love, Rhonda. I'm sure you're listening. We miss you, but we are so lucky to have a special guest. You might notice she has been a guest on the show, the amazing, the wonderful Susan Prue. And the crowd goes wild. We are so blessed to have Susan as our co-host today. She's an international speaker, superstar, women entrepreneur, and if she told you all the awards she's won, it would take the entire hour of the show. So I'm just saying, she's awesome. And Susan, who are we going to have on the show today?
Well, to get us started today, we have Dr. Mark Brinkat from Age Management Solutions, and his nickname is the Good News Doctor. I can't wait to hear all of that good news he has for us today. We are talking about aging well, and you don't need to know the tips for better health and wellness. And I think after everything that's been going on in Facebook on the last couple of days with everyone aging themselves, I think that Dr. Mark's phone is going to be blowing up. That is my prediction for next week.
Oh, goodness. Well, Mark is going to bring you an unbelievable story. I knew all about him behind his back. I had heard so many great things. He tried to get here on one of the snowiest days ever, and we didn't even have a show that whole month. It was just terrible, and so we are so blessed to have him. And when you hear his story, you will know why. And then we have Carolyn Fallu. She is our camp attorney and legal expert. But not only that, she's just got a heart for serving. You know, she's here to serve your family in those times when you need some legal help, you don't know what you don't know. And she is just amazing. And so we are so blessed to have Carolyn.
So accomplished.
She's accomplished, yes. But just as a human, like I think when you think about law and attorneys, you think, scary and hard. And I think the kind of love and the kind of support that Carolyn brings with her expertise, I think that's the secret sauce.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So we're going to talk secret sauce with Carolyn Fallu. And then lastly, we're going to show one of my videos from the Global Sisterhood Network on the road. And what that means is I travel all over the world. I've been to 3 continents this year. And I interview women to tell their sister story. This is Gretchen Daigle. She started here in Denver where she ran the Women's Foundation, but she has gone on and she's living in Sydney, Australia. Down under, in Australia. But she's amazing. She's super accomplished. Just got her PhD, is teaching at a university, and just took over an international charity where she's building bridges all over the world.
That's amazing.
So other than that, that's what she's got for us.
That's amazing.
Okay, well, let's get started. And plus, of course, we always have good times at the end. So we can get started with today's show. So welcome, Dr. Mark Brinkat.
Welcome.
Gosh, I always think you're a cool cat, is what I've always thought about you. How to get that joke. But I've heard so much about you because at Age Management Solutions, you joined their team to bring just, cutting edge, thoughtful, helpful medicine and really amazing research to the table. So let's go back and for the listeners, kind of tell them a little bit about your backstory so they know how you got this passion and purpose.
All right, well, thank you. So I'm a chiropractor, and at a very young age, I wanted to be a doctor. I used to always think I wanted to be a brain doctor, and then as I got through college and so forth, I realized that brain doctors don't really have much relationship with their patients. Maybe meet them once or twice, and you're always in the background. But I'm a much more feely, touchy type person. So my chiropractors always told me I'd be a great chiropractor. So I was very passionate about it for several years, and then my wife and I were unfortunately in a head-on collision with an 18-wheeler, and the career ended pretty quickly. And I was initially told that I wouldn't walk again until I learned to live with that. But I'm a fighter and martial art background, so I was very disciplined with therapy for hours a day for many years, and I just kept fighting to get over it. And unfortunately, I had a couple more accidents that, because of pre-existing conditions, just destroyed me. Spent close to 4 years wheelchair bound, permanently in a wheelchair, 7 back surgeries. We put a computer in my spine and kind of gave up on it and said, this is going to just make me not feel anything from the chest down and hopefully take less meds. But that was the best we could offer. And for a while, I believed it. It's like you go to all these doctors, you have all these great ideas, and then you follow it to a T, and then it didn't even touch it. Well, that wasn't it. At least we know that's not it. And so, there was times when I got really down on it all, and my parents just kept saying, and family, hang in there. There's going to be something. You're going to find a breakthrough. You're going to find a product or something that hasn't even been invented yet, and your life will change. Just don't give up. And so I spent a lot of years not giving up, and falling down 6 times and getting upset. That was a good motto that I used to live by.
I'm so lucky, Mark, that you did that, because on the other side, it's such goodness.
So about 5 years ago, I had a major breakthrough doing neurofeedback and started to get my legs back, my abilities back. And about 3.5 years ago, after 2 or 3 breakthroughs in that year, I'm fully recovered. And so, against all odds, I was able to move my family out here to Colorado and make up for lost time with my kids, because they grew up in a wheelchair and didn't get to enjoy all the fun stuff that I grew up doing, and so now we've got to relive it all, and it's been amazing.
Can I ask, what exactly is neurofeedback? I've heard of biofeedback. I think all of us have heard those terms. What exactly is that?
So biofeedback is any input we give the body that causes a physiological change in the body. Okay. Neurofeedback is any input we give the body that causes a physiological change in the brain.
Right.
Okay, so it's just the difference between brain and body. Now, the brain is the part, those are the cells you were born with, and the same cells you die with. These don't have a turnover rate. And so until 10 years ago, we didn't even know you ever grew new ones. We thought if you had brain damage or a spinal injury, sorry about your luck, this is permanent. Well, now we realize that you can be put into a state where you're one step beyond what you're capable of doing, and only in that special space does it elicit new tissue growth in the central nervous system. And so now with technology, you don't have to activate your hand like learning to play the guitar to get that skill better before it sounds good, and then I can play without thinking about it. You can just target the damaged area and grow tissue there by doing the feedback you're giving the eyes and the ears. And so it's been the most incredible journey to go through it myself, remodel all the tissue in my body and get my body back. And then, things change you over the time and change your purpose in life. And so my purpose kind of shifted into really wanting to help people with brain and spinal traumas and give them their life back. I've gone down that path. I know it's possible. And I'm bringing the good news to them that you don't have to be stuck like this. And I think, joining the team over here at Age Management Solutions has been great, because so many people are becoming more and more concerned about the well-being of their brain. With dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and MS and all these neurodegenerative diseases happening, it seems to happen real fast once you pass a certain amount of decay. And so when we can identify that and then turn it around and grow tissue in these places, we can literally prevent these horrible, future of unnecessary suffering.
So, a question, Mark. You came up with this strategy and you were practicing here in Colorado, but there's people watching all over the world here. How do they tap into this type of cure or this process elsewhere, outside of Colorado? How do you help them remotely?
Well, our company also has a mobile system where we actually lease equipment to families in need, where they can do up to 4 hours a day of neurofeedback. Okay. And so they're logging in 60 to 120 hours a month. Typically going to a doctor, they're doing about 20 to 30 minutes twice a week. So it takes about 3 months to get 10 hours in. And that's still significant. The 10-hour mark is a significant point because that's when we can literally track where new tissue has grown and what has come alive. And so it's pretty exciting to do that. But you could always just Google neurofeedback near me, and you'll find practitioners all around you that do it. It has become, in the last 10 years, it's just growing exponentially. There's so many more people getting benefits and seeing it, from autistic children to people that have suffered from migraines their whole life. All of a sudden, the migraines are gone.
Yeah.
We have patients who still get the pre-dome stage a little bit, like they think it's coming, but then it just never comes. They can just bypass it altogether. And then working with people that have gone through chemo, that completely dysregulates the brain. We can regulate it back really quickly and avoid a lot of the unnecessary side effects they get by going through that. And a lot of these patients go to get their treatments and I kind of feel guilty because I actually feel so good. And everybody that I see every week is getting worse and worse every week and losing their hair and just falling apart. And like, am I supposed to be like that? I mean, what's the difference? Okay? Right. And so you experience life through your nervous system. And when something happens to the nervous system that dysregulates it, your experience is not going to be good. And sometimes it's necessary with chemicals to dysregulate it to treat something else, and you got to kind of weigh the risks and benefits of things. But people need to understand that there's a way to get it back. Right? And so after you've been through all the trials and traumas and conditions that everybody's feeling like they've been stuck in for a long time, you can turn it around. You can turn it back on. Your body is constantly remodeling itself, seeking to find the best version of you. And in fact, when you replace one single cell in your body, it's not like it just does copy, paste, copy, paste. It makes 3 billion copies of that DNA. It rummages through there to find the cleanest one, and it says, aha, I got it. This is the one that's making it into the next cell. So you have 3 billion chances to make your next cell better than this one. And what are we choosing to do about that?
Right. And most people on autopilot in life, right, and also create a story in their head, and then believe themselves. Yeah. As this is all I have, this is how it is, this is what's going to happen, this is the direction I'm going, Yes, awesome. And especially I think you're talking to 2 people that relate in so many levels. Yes. I have had 2 hip replacements. I had the recall hip. So I had the metal on metal with metal poisoning. Awesome. And got to get a second hip on that same side. All right. But every day when I go to move my plastic porcelain hip, I tell it a nice story about itself, about how it should be and how it could be. So I'm very curious to work with you on this level to see about that reprogramming. And then Susanna, me too. What have you been through?
10 concussions, 16 broken bones, and 9 surgeries.
Is that all you got?
That's it. I know. I'm an overachiever.
Well, tell the world, though, so everybody doesn't think like you have been jumping off buildings or something to hurt yourself. Well, please tell them how you earned them.
Ski racing, mountain biking, car accidents, and then some of the surgeries are related to a disease that I have, a rare disease called DISH. Diffuse idiopathic skeletal hypertrophy. So Dr. Mark and I talked about that earlier, and I'm going to become a patient and work through my DISH.
Well, I thought that was pretty aggressive. You asked him what he was doing at 11 o'clock.
I know.
I know you're excited, but you know, I think you might have to go home
to his family
for some mountain biking. But I think everything, as we know on this show, happens on purpose. And so many of you listening might be saying, this is so amazing because myself, my husband, my child, my parents, are in a place and they're not living their best life because of something that maybe somebody could help them.
And you know what I heard you say too, which is really interesting to me, is that you can sort of spot out maybe Alzheimer's or dementia before it happens. And for those of us with head injuries, that's always a big concern. And for me, it's hereditary and the head injuries. I'm like, looking for my, where I'm going to end up and be crazy and silly, in my Alzheimer years. But maybe I don't need to look forward to that.
Well, so explain a little bit too about the process, because you said there's other people trained to do it. Is this, machine based? Is it, you talked a little bit about essential oils. Kind of again, now people are curious and they're like, how does this work for me? So will you take them a little bit as, there's like a diagnosis process, is it a 12-step process? We know about 12-step processes too. But, tell us how it works.
Okay, so it is absolutely science-based and FDA approved for clinical studies. All the equipment that we use is what the government uses, what the military uses. And we're doing a KUHS, which is a 19-lead brain map. And so basically we have little microphones all around the head that are recording thousands of neural synapses every 20th of a second and building a three-dimensional image of your brain's neurology. Now we can break your brain down into 12,700 little 7-millimeter cube boxes and look at each one individually and tell you, is this one on or off? What does it do in neurology? We can peel away the gray matter, which is your conscious control, and we can look at the white matter. So your gray matter is processing about 2,000 pieces of data a second. Underneath that, the white matter, your subconscious and unconscious, it's processing over 400 million pieces of data a second. And there's literally dozens of networks that are all scattered through the brain that are regulating, controlling certain things, like your pain network, your anxiety network, your default mode network. This is like the foreman that's in charge of making sure everything's running right. He keeps pinging and checking everything. And so we can literally break it down into any one of your networks. We have over 88 broadband areas that represent little tiny geographical space on your brain. And each one of those have very specific neurological functions, like speech, listening, interpreting what I'm seeing. All of these things come from a very specific part of the brain. So we can tell from the brain map which are the 4 most or 10 most dysregulated ones. And then we relate it back to, okay, well, this is what we're seeing out, and this is why you can't have word retrieval. And so it always relates as if I've been reading your mail for months. And how do you know this much about me when we're just looking at your neurology? But the important thing to know is once we find out what it's doing, we can use that information to change it and to improve it and to make it better than it's functioning right now.
Okay, so first you start with the brain scan, the map. Okay, and then does that take like a long time to come back? Because, you know, I think in this world now, it's like, you know, you went in, you got the blood test. It's this many days, and this is it that an immediate thing? Is it
would depend. It would depend on the clinic.
Yeah.
We usually have a 2-hour visit with the patient, and it takes us about a half an hour to do the maps. And then they'll wait around for a half hour. We build all the reports, and then we take them through the final thing.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Or it would be the next day.
Yeah.
Or sometimes with our remote patients, we do it remotely. So I get all the data, and then I create the report, make a video map report, and then you get that email.
I love what technology is doing. So then you get the map, and then what happens after the map as you start your process? I'm sure it's a process of working toward different.
Well, there would be a specific protocol of training that you'd be given that's going to fix the 4 worst parts of your brain. Mm-hmm. But then we can also see a lot of things about the way your body's detoxing the nutrients. You can see if there's emotional stress, torquing, not letting spinal fluid go into certain areas. We can see if there's infections in the brain. So we do the biofeedback brain scan on top of the neurofeedback because that gives us blood flow, drainage, venous drainage, infections, toxins, heavy metals, you know, things that would prevent the brain from stabilizing. Because we might be able to fix it all, but if you have an infection in there, it's going to dysregulate it. So we really like to look at the whole you and know what's really going on, and then everybody's going to have a different protocol and different recommendations based on the health that you're on.
And those protocols might be essential oils, they could be nutrients and supplements, they could be exercise, breathing, all kinds of things.
Sure. Yeah. If you're watching their exposure to EMF, you know some of that stuff. People are exposed to way too much of it, and your cells are being fixed.
Well, Mark, I'd like you to study the entire generation of the mom of a teenager. Yeah. I'm horrified by just her posture. Just the results of being on that phone and down is what it's doing to her posture. Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm not sure she cares to hear that from me right now, that we're always saying, like, hey, you know, pull your phone up. But I think when she's 45, I'm going to sit down and have a coffee. Exactly. I'll come back from heaven and drop it in. Be like, oh, no. Well, tell everyone how they get to come and interact with you and interact with Age Management Solutions, because as Susan said, the phone would be ringing off the hook from the people doing the app. I think it's ringing off the hook because of your desire to serve and because of your hard work and how you've been blessed in this lifetime to take terrible trauma and tragedy and turn it into such a blessing. So we're calling you out for your good.
And I'm calling first, by the way.
Okay, so you can't get in at 11:01 this Saturday because Susan's already there. She's chasing him to his car.
I am.
But tell everyone how they get a hold of you and how they interact with you.
They can go right to the website and contact the office directly. And they can also check out the goodnewsdoctor.com and get a lot more information about my journey and things that we've done along the way there too.
And I believe it's still hmanagementmd.com, right? And they're just changing their name to H Management Solutions, which you can see with people like Dr. Mark coming in bringing such unique and innovative solutions. Are you going to make him do the card?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Let's see what you got.
So we always make our guests, our victims, pick a miscellaneous card, and it's what would your girlfriend do? And so when we have men on the show, it's always even more fun.
Oh my goodness. Given 24 hours all by yourself and money is absolutely no object, what would you do? Oh my goodness. You know, this is going to sound really crazy, but I would like to just be done for a cabin on the top of the mountains here in Colorado. I'm off the grid and there's nobody around.
There you go.
There.
And it's not about the money thing. It's
Yeah.
about being able to unplug.
Yeah.
It's hard for people with such a passion and purpose to do that. It's probably the number one complaint I get from my family all the time is I'm serving everybody else and not taking enough time to you guys.
Yeah. Well, that was a good message for all of us who choose to serve and also all of us who, put everyone else first. I mean, I think we had this conversation in the Cape Experience family so many times. Put your oxygen mask on first.
Yes.
Because you wake up and you're like, gosh, I'm so spent. And it's like,
Right.
well, the rest of everybody's doing good. What about Mama? I can talk to myself. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. Well, you have been blessed today to hear Dr. Mark Brinkat. He's at Age Management Solutions. That website is agemanagementmd.com. That is the wonderful practice of Dr. Phil Lee, and his lovely wife Sue Lee is the charity for the Camp Experience Network. So you've seen her many times on here. So please, after Susan gets her appointment and I get mine, and by the way, I'm in there on Tuesday, you can all then get in line to go see Dr. Mark and also share this with your family and your friends and other people that might just want an opportunity for hope and a different way to approach living their best life. So thank you again, Dr. Mark. I'm so glad you made it.
Thank you for having
And we
me.
will look forward to seeing you so soon. You will not even believe how fast we get in there. We will be in the office.
Yeah.
Susan, that's your first interview. You did an awesome job.
So much fun.
I think Mark was alive. He didn't die or anything at the thing.
No, it was great.
He came through such a life and figured all that out, and it'd be terrible to lose him here on Boost Power Radio.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Due to the shock and awe of two women like us putting him through his paces.
That's true.
Okay, so that was only for you.
That was absolutely amazing. Such a God thing.
Such a God thing. So, Susan, it is hot summer across America. It's so hot that today, this is time date stamping us. They canceled a marathon in New York City.
Yes.
They canceled a celebration of the Apollo mission in the park, just because it's 100 degrees. And you're in the air conditioning business.
I am.
Should we all take a cold bath and turn off our air conditioners?
No. I mean, keep them on. Use a reasonable temperature. And I will tell you this, if your air conditioner is older and it was going to go, this prolonged use of like a week of this kind of weather it's gonna kill it. I will tell you. And so 12 to 14 years is kind of the lifespan of an air conditioner. If you took really good care of it and tuned it up every year as we recommend, probably last a little bit longer. But it is hot and our guys are all working diligently this week. Everybody's working today, so.
Well, tell them, so we do have a hotline in case you are listening to this anytime in the world. It could be the cold season, it could be the hot season, but what is the sunshine? We'll let them all call on the Camp Experience hotline, Susan.
303-459-5469. 303-459-5469, and just say Camp Sister, and they know totally what to do. You get an automatic discount.
A discount and a trip charge discount and all kinds of good things. So I let her put that blatant plug because she got out of bed this morning to help us when Rhonda was on vacation. So thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
And we're glad. We hope some people will get your heating and air conditioning needs filled by sunshine. I couldn't recommend them higher. So now we have one of the smartest people I've ever met.
Yes.
Welcome to the studio, Carolyn.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. Nice to be here. Carolyn Palou is related to Rhonda. I'm outing you right from the beginning that we actually biologically are related to the amazing Rhonda.
We are first cousins, yes.
Isn't that is so great. Well, she told us about you. Like, I've been friends with Rhonda since for like 15 years. She would always talk about the amazing Carolyn, the amazing Carolyn.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. And we are so blessed to have you in the Camp Experience Network where we do this funny thing, everybody. We say like, ask Carolyn. and then I do a skit and I say, my friend had a DUI, and what would you tell them? And it's just a fun way to say, all of us don't want to own up that as human beings, sometimes we or a family or someone we know gets in a little trouble with the law.
That's right.
Yeah. Naughty law.
Yeah. One of my law professors once said, if you're getting a phone call, something has gone wrong. So, and I find that to be very true, of course.
Mm-hmm. Well, gosh, especially those phone calls in the middle of the night, right?
Yes,
it's always on a Saturday night, too.
Often, very often. I'll be working later on today, yes.
This will be a hot weekend in the city. Well, as a mom of a teenager, I'm so glad to have you here, especially because you specialize in so many things that help, many, many families, especially the juvenile part, the mental health part, your bilingualness, so many things. So, why don't you start telling us a little bit about your story and whatever got you into your own author?
Well, I would have to say that I started off as a literature and humanities major at CU Boulder. But as I read these very compelling stories in my literary books, I thought about really the human interest aspect of people's lives and their challenges. And when I sat down, when the time came to get a job with a degree in humanities, I thought, how can I help and what can I do to help people? So I frankly looked at it all and thought, there's so many people in need out there. There are so many people often in crisis. But for the grace of God, they're going to lie. So I think my personality, I am a pretty fierce advocate when I feel that I can make that argument for folks. But also compassion and real understanding, really the ability to unpack what is in a crisis. Why are we here? What has brought this family or this marriage or this person into a circumstance they can't navigate alone? And so I believe firmly that people deserve even zealous advocacy, but also with some real compassion and logic that can walk them through a crisis where sometimes their own logic is no longer present, and we can help them through that path in the most meaningful way and frankly cost-effective way that they feel heard, and they feel that whatever the outcome may be, that it was fair and just. So that is my goal.
What was really impressive about your bio when I was reading it is not only are you fluent in Spanish, but you took the time to take courses, I imagine, or to study culture that was not your own culture so that you could be a better advocate. And I thought that was brilliant. I don't think many people would be empathetic or compassionate enough to do that.
Well, I find that really understanding where people come from helps. You need to understand their experience before you can understand what their goals are in any case, and to relate to them on a one-on-one manner. So yes, I've always been interested. I started studying Spanish when I was quite young, and then took a few trips to Mexico and Guatemala, and found those cultures to be very rich and very different. And I also lived in Europe for a few years in Italy, and found again that culture to be, while similar, very different in nature. And it's important when we're working with family law. Being a mother has been probably the best job training. Same thing with juvenile defense. You have to understand what it's like to raise children and watch your children make mistakes, so that when a family crisis comes in, or divorcing family, you can think about all aspects of what they're experiencing, how they're going through those things, what they need.
Now, you came out of law school, did you work for someone else for a while? Did you, or did you start your firm with, I'm going to do it my way? What is that story?
It wasn't my way.
You were in my family, girl.
Yeah.
My dad, me, just make it up.
I knew that I made a decision early on. Really, the drive was to work with people and for people. So not necessarily for a corporation or board of directors or partners. So I decided to go on my own path and do it my way, that would suit my needs and my family's needs, but also those of my clients. So I can decide if I want to work on a Friday or Saturday, if I must work, or, which way to handle that. And I find it's a very intimate experience when you have a small firm and a sole practitioner, which is what I was for years, that when you call, you talk to me. You don't talk to my associate or get a message to my paralegal. You will talk to my legal assistant. So I find that to be, and it's more fulfilling for me. So I find that it's a relationship that we establish, not just a payment processing system, but it's a real relationship. And I take the outcome even more seriously, I think, when it's an interpersonal experience. So.
And it's not based on how many hours you're doing.
No, well, there is a bill, but I don't answer to others about my billable hours, so I can just do what my clients need. but I don't have to exaggerate that. It's, or find that I'm answering to somebody else about why I didn't or did do what I did on the kids.
Yeah, I kind of have really enjoyed that trend in medicine now.
Yes.
I've always been going to a custom doctor. I love my Pfizer general doctor, great, good baseline. But for hormone replacement and age management and issues that I choose to care about, I have chosen personal doctors, like I see at Age Management Solutions. And it has been great, that concierge doctor. And I feel like that's kind of what you're saying, is you had that idea before it was cool. You knew that being a concierge attorney and being a practice that you could decide the principles of the practice and you could use your heart and your education and your soul to really, really help people.
I do find that sometimes the clients that I've represented when the children are young and the children are older, and I get a phone call and they become involved in one thing or another that requires some help. And so it really is that continuation of relationship building. And I'm always happy to answer a quick question from someone who's had a parent pass away. That's not my expertise, but I do find that it's a lifelong relationship building, and that becomes very meaningful.
That's cool. Right. And tell everyone your expertise. So, we've kind of said it about you, but why don't you say it about you? So, your sweet spot and what you're most, you focus most in the third.
So what we call it is really family law, because if you look at the aspect of that, that can mean divorce. It does mean parenting time, which is, I think, I know most folks, which we had to talk about, would you rather go to prison or lose your child, or would you want to give up half of your time with your child? Jail sentences and so on don't compare to the relationships that we have with our family members and children. So we start off with the family law umbrella, and that is essentially divorce or parenting time or custody disputes. In Colorado, we don't use the word custody anymore. It's allocation of parental responsibilities. That was abolished by the legislature many, many years ago, but folks, a lot of the average people don't know that until you need to learn that. Within that context, the crossover often is juvenile delinquency. Some of these sad consequences of high conflict divorces are that the children bear the burdens. The children will sometimes then act out in really what are, in my opinion, not so criminal ways. Adolescent mistake making and adolescent judgment calls are often erroneous, but there is a heightened sense of illegality. And I find that what used to be responded to by a neighbor saying you broke my window and you have to replace that is now a criminal charge. And so when you think of criminal defense, which is what I do as well, but in that juvenile context, these are not really criminals. These are kids making mistakes and doing things that children are supposed to do. Adolescents are especially lacking any filters or insider judgment. There's not a lot of, I should stop and think before I do this. And so delinquency is fed into that, where there's some very usually minor crimes, but that criminal prosecution has lifelong consequences. And so handling them well and thoroughly, or perhaps coming in early before someone is charged but may be charged, and guiding them down that path really helps, of course, the child who is defined, but the family navigate these really conflict-oriented waters. It's a challenge in every way.
I would really be curious with the influx of marijuana in Colorado, especially, right? And I have a daughter who's 16. She's right in the midst of it all, and had gone to a very affluent high school here in Colorado. And she told me that even in sophomore year, you could get any drug, anything you wanted, at your locker. Pretty much carry out service. Personally delivered to your locker. She then studied abroad. And I said, well, good, you're out of the pressures of that high school in Colorado. And she said, Mom, when a bunch of kids get off a boat and ship, the first people that come up are the drug dealers. Right. Which is not a great thing for your mom to hear.
Wow.
Then she went on to say she wasn't that into that, which was a good comment after the drug dealer comment. But my point is here, how have you seen the influx of marijuana and the availability of gummies and cookies and all that craziness? Have you seen that in your firm? That's brought a different kind of thing.
Well, and more interestingly, what is happening, and I think many people underestimate, is if a parent knows or has reason to know or provides that marijuana or allows the child access to it, that is a very serious crime, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and you can in fact be charged. And so what we're finding are children are found in possession of marijuana, which is still illegal while you are a minor child, and that is a possession charge. But when questions are asked as to the obtention of the drugs, where they got it, if it came from mom and dad. That is a parenting issue. It can be a child protection issue, and it can also be a contributing to the delinquency issue. I think these are the types of people just don't think. You don't think through. If my children want to have a party, I'd rather have them have a party at our house, and I'll go get the beer, therefore they don't go drink and drive. And yet, when those parties go wrong, there's a call to both parents and children, and frankly, it is the parent that is held more responsible. So while there's not really that criminal plan, these are crimes that can be charged and are often charged, and folks need to be aware of those things.
Well, one of our camp sisters, to remain nameless, went away to the mountains with her husband, and her son was just having 6 guys over in the night. And there was some posting on some party site that's like, go find me parties, and 300 kids came to her neighborhood, drinking, doing all kinds of drugs, trashed their home, and she got a call from the police. Not only the neighbors complaining, the police who raided the party, and her son, he didn't even put it out there, it was just his friend. Somebody got a hold of it, and it got into this world of kids that weren't his high school friends, anybody that trashed the house. So, it's a scary thing out there. Things happen, and that's why we have a 8-foot fence now around our home with big signs that say "mean dogs."
Yeah,
they may be small, but they're mighty.
And we find that those the Ring doorbells, you can watch who's coming and going.
Well,
that's helping deter.
Off here, we'll talk about how the camera on the back window really helps. Last year with the large football player going over the fence. Yes. So, Carolyn, we could talk about everything with you forever. So would you just say out loud how people can get a hold of you? Because I know many people listening are just like, hey, I want to know you before I need to know you. Absolutely. Which is always the best idea.
So the website is KUHSlaw.com. We always offer a initial consultation at no charge, which is approximately 30 minutes, although I've been known to exceed that when it's a serious case. And the office number as well is 720-353-4053. We do have 24/7 phone access as well.
Can you spell for me?
Yes, it is P as in Paul, ELLOUX as in X-ray law.
There you go. Well, I know we are so happy to have Carolyn in the Camp Experience Sisterhood. She's one of our sponsors. She participates in there, 24/7 to support our network, and now she is here to support you and your family. And again, take a look at her bio and her website. It's joyful to see someone so smart that's here to help us all. And so what is your card?
When was the last time you went skinny dipping in the moonlight? Oh, well, if I said last night, I think that would make you sick. But it was actually in my 20s in Italy when I was there in Rome one summer. So,
well, see? And a little birdie told me that maybe one day you might be thinking about some property in an international location, and I'd like to volunteer to be your retreat manager.
That's absolutely
so
right.
We have now the Global Sisterhood Network, and we have a travel division where we put women around the world. And, of course, I teach those art retreats and, personal development. So I think we're going to get Dr. Mark and have him bring his family to Italy. And he'll bring the machines and the oils, and we'll come to your place. And we'll start booking dates as soon as you're ready.
That is the plan. I'm ready yesterday.
I'm putting that into the universe, Carolyn.
I like it.
Because I tried telling that message just to Rhonda to tell you, and I'm sure they weren't getting through.
No,
so
I did not hear that.
Carolyn, I'm in.
That's a great idea.
I'm in.
We've got to love that.
I'm signing up for that one for sure.
And so now we have 2 appointments, Susan C. Mark at 11:01. And then we're all going to go to Italy to see Carolyn and check out her property that she may be thinking about. So we're now putting that in the universe that you can all travel with us. So
I'm a lot of sky miles.
Again, thank you to Carolyn Palou for being who you are. Thank you for having me. We're so glad to have you on Boost Power Radio. Look, you're surviving. Yay. Isn't that great?
Yeah, this is so much fun.
See how much fun it is? Well, as we get ready to show our Gretchen Gable video, I just want to say today's an important day in the Camp Experience Network. It's $100 off the fall retreat because it is exactly 8 weeks from now. We will be in the Black Forest having fun.
Yes, we will.
So anybody, if you're listening today on KUHSdenver.com, if you're watching us on Facebook, just go and look around at campexperienceretreat.com. We'll tell you all about it. And if you happen to do it the 20th or the 22nd here of July, you get $100 off. So we'd love to have you there.
It's an experience not to be missed, seriously. It is a great weekend of connection and education and just spending time with your girlfriends in nature. It's actually fabulous. So
I know, we ought to see if Dr. Mark's around since we're going to be close to his house. Maybe he'd just come over for a couple hours and see a few women and
that would be fantastic.
Bring his amazingness, and we'll even let him in to the hormone hall with 130 amazing women and my husband's guys, and we'll let Dr. Mark in. He's already in the club.
Yes.
We can't wait. So now we're going to show you this video of Gretchen Daigle. This was shot in Sydney, Australia, right after I climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I know. And the crowd goes wild. One of my life adventures, I took my double hip replacement over that Sydney Harbour Bridge, 650 feet above the ocean. And after that, I got to interview the amazing Gretchen Daigle. So enjoy.
Introduce yourself to your global sisters. Thank you, Betsy. It's really great to have you over here visiting. I've been here in Australia for 7 months. I am a professor at the Australian National University in Canberra. Still also teaching back in the United States at the University of Denver and doing management consulting, which I've been doing on and off for 30 years in construction of all industries. So doing a little bit of consulting back in the U.S. and here in Australia. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Oh gosh, you say that just like, oh, well, I just happen to be doing this and happen to be doing that. But Gretchen, go back and kind of tell people about your past, because I knew you when you were leading the Women's Foundation. Mm-hmm. I knew you were always in construction. I know you've been a consultant and a podcaster and an author and now a PhD. So tell us a little bit about kind of your choice point. Like, what is driving you to have leadership positions and also be on the cutting edge of thought and thought leadership now in a global way?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I tell my kids this all the time, that life is about forks in the road, right? And a lot of those forks, it's right versus right decisions. It's not like there's a right or a wrong decision, but it's so interesting to see the paths that we take, these ziggy-zaggy paths, when I think sometimes when we're young, we think it's going to be a straight path. So I was motivated to go to engineering school. My father told me I couldn't go to engineering school because girls didn't do that. That was in 1981. And I credit him for making me the really strong person that I am today. He was awesome, but he just had a paradigm about what girls could or couldn't do. So out of engineering school, I ran manufacturing plants, decided to settle down in Denver to raise my kids and get married and raise my kids. So did an MBA in finance, and that's when I went into consulting in 1994 in the construction industry. And after 11 years of being on the road every week when my kids were 7 and 8, I decided to take a break from the plane, got a master's in nonprofit, and that's when I became president of the Women's Foundation in Colorado. So that's where my real passion and history with women and women's leadership started. Was there for 5 years, was assistant dean of the business school at the University of Denver. Stepped down from that when my mom was in the last stages of Alzheimer's. I was her baby. I was 12 years after my siblings, and decided to get back into consulting. So that was 2013. Because I'm crazy, I decided to do a PhD while I was president of a consulting firm, which I completed last August, and really wanted to support my husband in coming over to Australia. His mom's 83, and he's been gone for almost 30 years, and really felt like, hey, I can find fun things to do in Australia, so let's come over and live in Australia for a couple of years. So,
well, we want to go back and unpack a little bit this PhD, which I like to tell all the viewers, in 4 years, less than 4 years, a PhD. So tell everyone what you study, kind of what you study, and kind of some of the research, because this is some of the good you're giving back to the world, I believe, that you're taking time to be thoughtful about leadership and the effects of great leadership. So tell everyone a little about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I set a goal to get a degree every 10 years. So this is degree number 4. I think I might be done. But I've had a very clear objective of what I wanted to accomplish with each degree. And with this one, I have spent 33 years trying to help leaders understand how to create nimble organizations because the world is continuing to change quickly. You know, we've got this VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So that was my mission when I went into the PhD, is to really understand what have the academics been saying, what research is out there about leadership and culture and change and agility and ambidexterity and resilience in organizations. So it was really fun to go back to, you know, James McGregor Burns in his book in 1978 on leadership, or Edgar Schein, one of the greatest academics ever in culture. I ended up researching 47 corporations, 126 business units, and measured leader behaviors and the presence of agile routines to see what connections there are between what leader behaviors create more agile business units and organizations. So it was a lot of fun, very rigorous, but a lot of fun.
Wow. Well, so many people are listening and going, yeah, let's go back to the 1 degree every 10 years. That is admirable and excited for the world. I'm glad that you'll be now taking some of that research out and publishing some papers and all of the above. Mm-hmm. So your husband brought you to Sydney, but tell us a little bit about kind of just your love of travel and kind of how you're finding women in the world now that you're out and connecting.
Yeah. So I'm very lucky that I belong to a group called the International Women's Forum, and my membership transferred over here. I actually came to their conference. The international conference happened to be in Melbourne last year. And actually tonight I'm headed to China and then Spain for the international conference there. It's 700 women getting together, and it's really connected me to a global sisterhood, as you talk about, of incredible women that are making an impact on the world. It's interesting because my mother, my first trip abroad was Australia when I was 12 years old, and my mom really created that passion around travel. I'm about to become chair of an international NGO that builds footbridges around the world. I'll be in Rwanda with them in July. So that's my first opportunity really to take my philanthropy and my passion for giving back and put that on a global stage. So it's a lot of fun.
The world is so lucky, Gretchen, to have you. On behalf of everyone in the world, we say thank you. That is awesome. So along this path with being a business leader and an innovator, right, and kind of creating new paths for women, especially in construction, being a podcaster, being an author, all the things that you have done. When was it tough, and what did you learn? You talk a little bit about some sage wisdom for those listening from your own journey.
Yeah. I think one of the toughest things for me, I was in a very male-dominated consulting firm. I joined there in 94. I had my son in 96 and my daughter in 97. And that's what my book is about, and my TED Talk, 8 Steps to Being a Great Working Mom, because I was the primary breadwinner for my family. And a lot of people said things to me that were very judgmental about my ability to be a good mom and to travel every week. And, my mom was there, my sister. We had a great support network for my kids. My kids are awesome. They're 22 and 23 now. But it really gave me a lot of self-doubt. And that's why I wrote the book, because, a single mom said to me that a principal said, well, your kids would do better in school if you didn't work. Well, you're a single mom. I mean, what are you supposed to do? And people inflicting their judgments against you. It was very difficult. And I just wanted to help create some support network for women that face those same judgments and feelings of guilt about not being there after school with warm cookies for their kids. And that's not going to dictate how their kids turn out.
Right. And we've had you speak at some of my women's conferences about that. We really enjoy that. And if you were going to give just 3 easy tips, because now people are like, wait a minute, I want to know the mom stuff. Yeah. We'll come back to the rest, but what would be just like your first kind of 3 sage wisdom mom tips? Because so many people listening are trying to be the everlasting, saga of parenting and career and life partnership.
Yeah. The number one tip is make the decisions that's right for you and just feel good about it, because the time we spend being stressed and feeling guilty takes away from quality time with our kids. And I know that's easier said than done. It's about creating a really strong support network. So being able to ask for help, which is something that we're all looking at each other thinking that everybody's got it all together and I'm the only one struggling. And so that's really the third one, is to have a conversation with people and to be able to be vulnerable, have that psychological safety, and being willing to ask people for help. You have to have that plan A, B, and C. One really practical tip, the last one, I sat down with my kids and said, what's really important that I be there? I can't be there for everything, but what's important? What do you think is important for me to be there? So helping them drive the decisions about what I put blocks on in my calendar, for example, that was really helpful with them.
See, giving that power back to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Thank you. I will savor, again, I've read the book, of course, and savor those tips. So what are you excited about now? You're here in Sydney, Australia. You're about to jet around the world for a while, but, what is it that you're most on fire about right now?
Yeah. I'm really on fire about teaching. So I started lecturing at the University of Denver last June in leadership and ethics, which is a topic that I'm really passionate about, and that's my alma mater. I received my MBA from the University of Denver, but now I'm teaching at the Australian National University, and it's such a diverse student base. So I'm teaching 120 postgrad students evidence-based management. They're from China and India and Cambodia and in Australia, France. I mean, really a globally diverse student base. So I'm learning so much from them about how teams and leadership manifests itself around the world. So really excited about that. And after that craziness of doing the PhD while I was president of a company, just trying to take a deep breath and enjoy the 10,000 beaches that we have here in Australia.
Oh gosh, only 10,000 beaches. And of course your world travel and golf and your philanthropy and building your bridges and all the things in Brexit's amazing world. So we like to have you do a global statement for women. So just imagine someone's listening and they're fascinated by you and you just are going to speak into their hearts. So what would be your global statement?
My global statement for women is to believe in yourself and to love yourself. That's something that I've learned along the way. That was the hard part about losing my mom. She was my biggest fan, no matter what I did, what crazy career change, or she loved me unconditionally, and she was my biggest fan. And I think we all need to be our own biggest fan, and really love ourselves.
Well, that is so very important because we spend, I think, as women, so much time loving everyone, giving to everyone, and when we wake up and we're like, oh, spent, and we've given our best self to everyone else, and we kind of sometimes forget, to take care of Mama. Mama's got to be happy.
I agree.
So, how can people learn more about your work? How can they learn about your charitable things? How can they get more of Gretchen?
Yeah. So if you're interested in my TED Talk, just go to YouTube and Google Gretchen Gagel, Gagel, like a bagel. My website, greatnessconsulting.com, talks a little bit about my consulting work. And then I'm very active on LinkedIn. I think I have 4,300 people that I'm connected to in some way on LinkedIn now, and love having the conversation with people about interesting ideas. So that's another way to connect with me.
Well, Gretchen, you have been someone I've looked up to since I met you. I have seen you in the first years of the Camp Experience Network when we were part of a partnership with the Women's Foundation in Colorado. I've seen you as a philanthropist, as a friend, as a global sister, and we just can't wait, the whole sisterhood can't wait to get behind you, to see your leadership with the bridges all over the world, to watch you continue to innovate, to read your papers as they're published, and to continue to just enjoy your amazing life and the amazing way that you lead this earth. So thank you so much for being a global sister, and we will have you back again.
Awesome, Betsy. I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much.
Well, I feel like a real slacker. I break a new bone every 10 years.
I know. I was going to say, let's see, what can we bring to the rock? Well, I tell you, that's my, I'm learning how to edit. So, those are some of my first ones. And I just was really happy, like, her name showed up, and it was spelled right. It's the little things that I care about. I think I want my transitions not to be shorter. It's all looking at my own self. But the purpose of the Global Sisterhood, in case you're curious, is just so for 24/7 you have access to amazing people to listen to their story. And so at campexperience.com, right now on the top bar, it just says Global Sisterhood Network. It's absolutely free. And you can just download every week. We have a thought leader You can see the videos there. We also have some new things coming up called Sister Stories. We put them out on Facebook, but we're going to all put them in our new webpage, and then we're going to grow that, just telling sister stories around the world.
Very exciting.
You're a very good story. Okay, well, we got through your, how'd you like it?
So, pretty good.
See,
I
it's
think
a little
so.
different than being a public speaker, but the same.
Well, you know what? I don't see the people in the front row.
Right.
So that's a little weird. Good, bad, I don't know, but yeah.
Well, tell everyone if you're interested in a great speaker, tell them really quickly how they find you.
SusanRobertsGroup.com. That's the best way to find me. And I actually was on the radio for a long time on ESPN Denver, but we didn't have cameras back then. We were just on the radio.
Yeah.
So this is a new thing. So it's fun.
Yeah. So I think people have said, you have a face for radio, and then there's international cameras because of Henry. So I want to call out and thank Henry Archuleta today in KUHS Denver. Henry's in the studio, making the video work and helping to run the show. So we really appreciate you, Henry. Thank you for making it all so easy today. Okay. Well, so what's going on? So good times is what we call this.
Yes.
So many fun things ahead. We're heading in each month. The footprint for the Camp Experience Network here in Colorado, of course, is coffee and conversation. Coffee. We have coffee on the first Wednesday, coffee and conversation. Then we head into something called Camp Connections, which you build your business and yourself. Those are the second Tuesday, the third Thursday, and the fourth Thursday. So we have one coming here at the end of July at St. Anthony North Health Campus. And we're having a dog as our speaker.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so excited. I'll be there for that.
Of course, we're having pet therapy.
You say dog, I'm there.
Yeah, I know. You could bring all your dogs. We'd have a dog free for all.
I have a lot of dogs.
You are the dog haver, and we were not going to bring my dogs because they are yippy and they would make a ruckus. But it's so great because we have live speakers. So our network has a lot of live in-person things. Also next Thursday, July 25th, if you're listening live, we have free headshots at Mike's Camera in Glendale. It's the Belcaro store. It's the annual Mike's Camera Photo Contest Awards.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't enter, you're going to see 30 amazing photographers from the Camp Network and Sisters and Friends. And then you're going to have some snacks, some Babylon Store and wine, and some nice giveaways and door prizes.
It's a fun night.
It's a fun night. Come get a new headshot. You need a new headshot because you got that new hair.
I do need one. Yes.
I like the one on your Facebook page, but what the heck, get another one. I will. And those fancy lights take like 100 years off. So it's the opposite from the Facebook aging app at Mike's Camera Thursday. It's the anti-aging app called Mike's Camera, shooting your new headshot for free.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really fun. Then on the next show, we have Rowena, who's coming from Mile High United Way, and they're one of our community partners.
Yes, they are.
And that'll be a lot of fun. And Rowena is going to tell us all kinds of things that are happening in the Denver, Colorado community, but also ways to plug in, and so everyone can kind of have their philanthropic, footprint, like Gretchen, who has a philanthropic global footprint. We'll just do some good work here in Denver, Colorado. Yeah. And Taverly is finally going to be on the show.
She is amazing. You don't want to miss this.
Taverly has her own, what's her podcast called? Written
Race, and it is super famous. Like, people are picking it up all over the world. This girl is on a rocket to awesomeness.
Great. Well, she's a lot of fun, and she's going to be on the show next time, along with Rhonda being back, so that's always good. So that's really fun. So I just really think the message today, what's your insight? My insight is like, what you don't know, you could live your best life.
Yes.
What did you learn?
I learned that everyone here is so accomplished and they're so creative. Great ideas, just outside the box thinking, and really a lot of resilience and great thinking here.
Well, and I think that Dr. Mark Brinkat from HManagementMD.com, if you're listening and you're thinking that's for you, I'm definitely thinking that's for me, because with all the therapy in the world, my hip still hurts. It's true. And I'm really curious to what my brain could do to help that be better, and I just know he can help